Lessons from the documentary My Octopus Teacher. I sat down last night needing some me time and fortunately hit the perfect movie for self-reflection, My Octopus Teacher. Like myself, the protagonist Craig is going through a bit of a late life crisis. For some reason, he's compelled to dive and explore the underwater world. He meets and learns from one amazing octopus whose life he becomes immersed in for a year. It's a must-watch. As I watched the world of Craig and the octopus interconnect, I found myself thinking of life, but most importantly, education. The thing I've been so absorbed in for over 30 years and now feeling a little lost and pessimistic about. It sort of renewed my faith in many ways. So here are some lessons I took away about education, teaching, the whole process of personal learning and growth for teachers from the film. I hope some of these hit you or even change you. So let's go. Here they are. Number 1, the world is temporal, teaching even more so. Basically, the whole movie reflects the existential fact that our life is momentary, ephemeral, and ruled by entropy. We are always coming and going. Things pass by and never come again. Nothing sticks, nothing stays. All flows to its end. I've written previously about how hard it is in teaching. You're always saying goodbye. You nurture and grow these deep relationships and then, boom, the students move on and it's over. Same with Craig and the octopus. It seems sad, but it isn't sad once you really embrace Craig's words. He says, the purpose of your life is now. So that of a teacher. To bring home the bacon, nurture, be there, teach despite this ephemerality. You won't last long in the profession unless you embrace this deep fact in your soul. It's something I learned during the pandemic also. The value of just being there with your students at a time and at a place. Related to this point is a fact that Craig mentions. The octopus's life is short, only 1 year long. Life is finite for us all. Use your time well. As well, let's use our time at school well. Make it count. Lesson number 2. The true core of education is getting students to notice. Craig asked the question, why do the same thing, go to the same place every day? Each day he visits and observes the octopus in the same kelp forest and in the same fashion and manner. His answer is full of wisdom. To notice, to see. By going deeper instead of wider, he has learned a loud lesson about intelligence and the educated mind. Knowledge is not the quest. It isn't about more numbers, more stuff, more trivia and facts. True education begins when we open our doors of perception and begin to see what we normally don't. Genius is thus. So it's about going deeper into things, not the numbers and going everywhere and covering lots. I think that's an important fact and thing for teachers to understand. In education, we stuff kids and students full of straw. Banking information, regurgitate this, memorize and spit out. But that's not what sticks, what stays, what is true educare, the original word for education. To truly become an autonomous learner, the goal, students need to dig deep into the world that calls to them, to which they are abundantly curious, as Chris was so about his octopus. In doing so, in going deep, and I'll mention Kieran Egan's program, Learning in Depth. Check it out. It's a really good curriculum. In going into things in depth, students will truly see and be filled with what is truly the golden egg of education: insight. Lesson number 3. Intelligence is tacit, personal knowledge. Throughout the film, you see Craig slowly undress from his robes of school and university and culture, which puts man as the crowning form of life and intellect. He undresses and sees that man is not at the top of any kind of hierarchy. We see Craig, Homo sapien sapien, marvel at the intelligence of the octopus, how it is a master of deception or can outwit in a moment the pajama sharks lurking everywhere. Craig has learned an important lesson. There are no lesser or more intelligent life forms. We fool ourselves and we hurt students when we grade, label, and measure them based on standard formula. Each of us is intelligent, a marvel, a miracle of membrane, synapses, carbon, calcium, and sinew. Education and schooling needs to focus on what students can do in and of themselves and their own environment, instead of the industrial assembly line automized approach we do take. We also have to teach students that they aren't top of the heap and to value all life as intelligent. I'll talk more on this in a little bit. You remember the old comic that every animal is being judged by how they can climb a tree. And of course, the monkey is the most intelligent by that testing measure. But it's wrong. The elephant is just as intelligent as the monkey. It's just they aren't fit for climbing trees and we're using the wrong assessment tool. And the same goes mostly in our classrooms. Many students will excel in one way if we test, but many students do get left behind because we're not changing our assessment tools for the environment they live in and where they come from. Lesson number 4. Learning isn't unidirectional. In the film, the octopus almost dies and loses an arm. Craig thinks it won't recover, but it does. It grows back the arm it lost, but not until a good period of recovery where it loses its color and remains stationary, hidden away. So too with learning. We learn by our mistakes. We often need to take one step back in order to jump further ahead. The French say, reculer pour mieux sauter. Failure is the foundation of all education. Trial and error are the way we learn. Imagine the scientific method without trial and error. Even Mozart at one time played and hit many poor notes. Lesson number 5. You are part of this place. You are not a visitor. Craig realizes this and is such an important learning point in the movie. In life and education, we are on a moving train. There is no such thing as a non-participant. And this makes us responsible for ourselves as well as the whole. We bear a responsibility for our fellow learners, our community, our world. We aren't visitors. For education, it also means that we aren't passive consumers of information. Education is a process of involvement in the world, participation in the world, creation with the world, praxis, as one great Brazilian educator once said. Our curriculum needs to unshackle itself from the classroom and make learning be part of the world, have an impactful presence, and get students engaged in real purposeful actions in the world. Education is flowing water. It isn't just the filling of a bucket. We're not visitors, we are involved. We need to be involved. Craig shows us that learning is about experiencing world and the experiences we have in that world. It is this which will linger, will remain, and which is education, learning. Being a part of this place, this world we live in, brings into focus another fact solely underrepresented in education: our environment. We need to bring environmental education into the front and center place it deserves. Teach science through this. Environmental education isn't just an add-on, something to look at if there is time at the end of the year or syllabus. We need to provide students with experiences so they value all life, all intelligence, and truly absorb the fact they aren't visitors, but at home and a part of this world. Lesson number 6. Focus on character, not facts. Craig brings in his son towards the end of the film. He's proud of his son's gentleness and how experiencing the underwater world has made his son value and appreciate life, recognize his own powers and responsibilities, and become sensitized to the true, vibrant nature of all life forms. What's going on here is Craig's son is being schooled and developing character. We should not forget for a moment that school has a major role in developing the character of our youth. Yet too often it fails. We need to fix that, with some of the things I've noted above and some other things. But we ignore this at our peril. Lesson number 7. Love and do what one will. At the beginning of this article, I noted that the whole film was essentially about the ephemeral nature of life, our existence. True. But also this whole film is about love. It's a love story. An example for our students in what happens when you allow yourself to go towards the unknown, embrace the other, fall in love with the unfamiliar. It is a love story. The Taoist saying is appropriate here, and I love it. It says, as you go on your way, the way will appear. Our learning in the classroom and our students' learning is a journey. It happens along the way, not at some final destination. So let's all truly value our relationships with students. Education is passed on through these vital relationships, just like the relationship between Craig and the octopus. Education is in the glance, the connection, the enjoyment of human beings to and with other human beings. Embrace all students, not just the ones with the answers, the ones who are like you. Grow in these relationships, love, caring as a teacher, in this beautiful two-way street we call a classroom. Craig demonstrates that so well, finally realizing after much questioning that yes, the octopus too did get much out of their relationship. Joy, companionship, learning. Again, teaching is a two-way street. It gives and takes. It is an exchange. Enfin, a relationship. If you haven't watched it, or even if you have, watch it again and think about the film, The Octopus Teacher, and its messages and teachings for you. I'm sure you'll find many more lessons from this fine film. Thanks for listening. This is David, ELT Buzz, over and out.